So the SABC News team continues to monitor and provide us with updates on the fires that hit southern parts of the Sarah Baartman district and the Nelson Mandela Bay. Major fires were under control as of yesterday afternoon, with emergency services closely keeping tabs due to the changing wind direction and speed. For more on this now, let's take you to SABC News reporter Kim Daniels, who joins us for an update. So Kim, what's happening where you are now?
As of yesterday, fires under control. This morning, even better. I'm standing in Summerstrand now in Gqeberha. This is Strandfontein Road. This road was closed yesterday due to the fires that sparked up. You know, in this area, there was a lot of smoke, a lot of, it wasn't very visible, you know, for people to drive through this road. That's why the municipality and traffic decided to close off this road to make sure we don't have any more of those multi-vehicle pileups. But today, it's a scorcher today, 35 degrees. The wind is at a minimum, but there's a quiet confidence, you know, about this municipality as well as the municipality in Gqeberha that they have the situation under control. Currently now in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, there are no reported fires. We haven't really seen smokes, just some smoldering like you see here behind me. But other than that, there have been no reports. In the Gqeberha municipality as well, I spoke to their mayor, Sarah Baartman, this morning, just to get an update, a sense of what's happening that side, because we know that Gqeberha municipalities are like a 1 hour, hour and a half driving distance from Gqeberha. But he was saying that things are under control there. The three major fires that they were very concerned about, especially that one between St. Francis Bay and Oyster Bay, that is now under control. The ground crew are monitoring. The helicopters are still in the sky dropping water on the small areas of fire. Their main concern now is to extinguish all the fires before the winds pick up again, because he has said that the wind is very quiet. It is quite a warm day, and we know with the warm winds, the warm weather, those are all accelerants, you know, for these fires to grow and thrive. So they are trying to douse down those areas before the winds pick up again later. The fires in Jeffreys Bay and to the north of Humansdorp, those have been extinguished completely. The fires in the Kabeljous area is almost extinguished, just a few small fires sporadically popping up, but as I said, there are crews on the ground monitoring that situation.
And what's the status of traffic? I know you said that traffic is now freely moving on that stretch of the road. What has the traffic department been saying insofar as managing traffic on that stretch of the road?
As you can see behind me, the cars are traveling up and down, which does indicate that this road is open. There have been no reports so far within the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro or the Gqeberha municipality that roads have been closed. Because these fires are under control and or extinguished, there are no need to close the roads, because, I mean, it's safe to drive, it's safe to live. As you recall, even yesterday, some people were evacuated out of a small area close to Oyster Bay. Those people have since returned home, you know, because the smoke has gone down. It's not as thick anymore, and the fires have moved past their homes, and no property damage has been recorded.
And Kim, here's the thing. Yesterday, I think it was one disaster management personnel who said that it was quite a complex operation to try and get those flames under control. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was on scene, it was very interesting for me to see, obviously someone with no knowledge about fires or how to control fires, how the firefighters, the men and women, actually started burning off the edge of the bush. So there was a raging fire that was coming towards us, and so they started burning the bush so that the fire they created would, you know, meet that big fire, then essentially burn out the bush and vegetation so that the fire has nothing to feed off of. And I thought this was very smart, you know, because it's essentially killing fire with fire. It was very interesting to see how these disaster management people and these teams on the ground work together and communicate and figure figure out ways, to combat these fires. And as you mentioned, the changing wind directions is also one of the reasons that it's been so hard to control these fires. But by killing off that vegetation and leaving nothing for the fire to feed off of, it actually gained that advantage. The firefighters gained the advantage of control over that fire. I mean, it's been very interesting to see. And I mean, it was obviously also a very tough situation, a very heated situation, literally and figuratively, because the heat there where I was standing was unbearable. But the mood among these firefighters and the mood among the volunteers was actually so heartwarming to see how they encourage each other, how they help each other, how they kept calm, in the face of such an alarming and such a scary reality that they were facing, which just goes to show that the right people are on the ground to face this problem. And I mean, the results show, in comparison to yesterday, the situation in the Kouga and the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro has improved dramatically. But as I said, the winds are unpredictable. You never know, especially in the city. Gqeberha is known as the windy city. We never know what might happen, but the teams on the ground are ready. They are monitoring for whatever might pop up, as the day progresses.
And Kim, I'm going to ask you to give us a bit of a visual representation, a bit of a feel. Ask your cameraman to perhaps even pan for us so we get a sense of how things are looking there as you talk us through some of those visuals before we let you go.
Yeah, so I'm just going to step out of shot so Zama can actually show you and see. So you see there is some fire, not fire really, it's smolder. So it's what's left, after the fire rampages through the area. You can see there's big bush in this area. So this is an accelerant, it's drier, so it makes it easy for fires to spark up. And unfortunately, this is a spot where people do come dump their rubbish. We see a lot of glass bottles, which we know also helps accelerate these fires. We see a lot of rubble, a lot of rubbish as well. So it makes it an ideal environment, for fire to thrive. Because if you think of fire as a living organism, all of us are just looking for the right components, the right things to make us, to keep us alive, so that we can thrive, And it's the same concept with the fire. They need the oxygen, they need the dry, they need the wind, and things like these glass bottles, and the cigarette butts. These are all accelerants for these fires to grow and thrive. And you can see in the background as well, the cars are driving up and down. There's a Mr. D bike going past. Taxis, personal vehicles are driving up and down. As I mentioned, this road was closed yesterday because of the thick smoke creating poor visibility. And these are all measures, to ensure that the residents are safe, that the people using the roads are safe, because they want to avoid situations where they endanger lives, where they endanger property. I think that's been a main priority for the people of the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro and the municipality of Kouga, because even the evacuations, it wasn't that their lives were in danger. It was just that they wanted to move people out of harm's way before something bad had happened. So as you can see, things are improving substantially here in the Bay. The fires have mostly been put out, extinguished. There's some smoldering going on, but all in all, things are looking positive this side of South Africa.